Welcome to WinSouls TV. This is your host, Jeff Thomas. I'd like to go ahead and talk about the problem with I. So the first little story is I was in church and I had a little windbreaker on, and it had the name of my company on it. And a lot of, big name companies, they like to give their employees specific things, and mine gave us a little jacket. And since I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma, basically a lot of people know that company. I mean, it really makes the town, And so because of that, if you work there, then people look at you differently. And so I didn't think anything of it. I was fasting at the time, and I remember getting slightly angry when this happened. I'm in the middle of church, and this guy comes up to me. He was just like, "Well, hey, how's it going?" And I said, "Hey, how are you?" And I said, "I'm Jeff. Nice to meet you." And he said, "Well," and honestly, I wasn't necessarily looking for any type of attention. I was just wearing the jacket because it was cold outside. And he rubbed his finger across my chest because that was where the name of the title of my company was. And he said, "Man, you're making really good money there, and you'll have time to money to retire with, and to take care of your family, and this, that, and the other. And man, you must be really intelligent and all of this stuff. And you're basing all of these assumptions because of the simple fact that I work at a company." And that made me angry because, simply put, I'm more than just an individual that works at a company. And you shouldn't look at me any differently than anybody else simply because of the fact that I'm working for a company. Another story, and this one just happened last Sunday. I'm at the grocery store, and I see a guy that I hadn't seen for a while. And I said, "Hey, what's up, man?" We dapped it up, high-fiving, jumping through the sky, doing all kinds of stuff, right? And he was like, "Man, all of this stuff is happening to me, and the Lord is taking off." And then I was just like, "Man, okay." I started getting really excited for him. And then the more that I heard him talk, the more that I realized that he wasn't in the mindset of the Lord actually doing it for him. He was saying, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that, and I'm rapping, and I'm doing all of this, and da 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 da, and I'm doing all of this for the Lord, and I'm doing all of this, and I'm doing all of that. And I'm just like, so now he was rapping, and he had been preaching, and all of this stuff, and I was just like, "Oh wow, that was great, that was great." And I was talking with him about some of the stuff that the Lord led me to, because honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't necessarily want to start a YouTube channel. That's where the Lord wanted me to go, so I went. I don't necessarily want to write a book. Well, I did want to write a book years ago, so take that one back. But and he has me writing a book. He has me doing all of these specific things that he led me to. But when individuals begin to talk about the Lord, they're talking about him in such a way that they are getting the glory and not God. They're talking about all of the things that they are doing versus the Lord leading them in that direction and then opening all of the doors versus, just saying, "Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that." And when you meet somebody, you say, "Hey, how you doing?" This, that, and the other. Majority of the time, if you really pay attention, they're very quick to tell you all of the specific things about themselves that make them look a certain way, that make them look higher in status or stature. And I think that that's coming from the wrong place, especially if a lot of us as Christians are trying to move in the way that the Lord would have us move. A lot of times, even in churches, "Oh, well, guess what? I'm the lead pastor or kid ministry over this, area, over the children's ministry, or I'm the lead pastor over this, and da 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 da, and da 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 da. And they're very quick to tell you all of the stuff that they're doing for God, but where's the relationship with God? It's like, yeah, you're teaching all of this Bible, but where is Jesus? Because it's two ways to look at the Bible. It can be a great piece of literature, and based off of that, even there are accounts in the past, many accounts in the past, where people have used it as a great piece of literature to control other people. And then there are people that will take the word and literally they will get an understanding, not just reading it as a piece of literature. It is a great piece of literature, but it is God. In the beginning, there was the Word. The Word was with God, and God is the Word. And out of that relationship, not only are you teaching a Bible class now, are you being used to teach a Bible class? I put emphasis on that word because it's the Lord that's really teaching the class. You're being used as the vessel. And I think that a lot of us need to humble ourselves in a lot of different areas, especially me. And I'm right along in that boat with you, in terms of saying that whenever you are doing something, it comes out of the surrender to God. It doesn't come out of, okay, yeah, I'm thinking about doing this, and I'm just going to do it, and we'll see if the Lord just catches up to the thing that I want to do. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. It's either all about you or it's all about God. And I think that there's literally no gray area. Gray area is an area that has to be grown because of the simple fact that people do not like what the word says when it comes from surrender. And when you surrender to God and those things are blossoming out of the surrendering and your submissiveness to God and your humility toward God, all of those things will not only flourish, but it is coming from the right place. And then you are being used to show other people what that actually looks like. Versus saying, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. God does not care about your titles. He doesn't care about your titles. So bishop, pastor, evangelist, teacher, preacher, yeah, those are great things. Whoop-de-doo. But guess what? If you are not moving out of that place of surrender versus moving out of a place of duty or responsibility, then guess what? Pride cometh before a fall. Pride cometh before a fall. Because when you're doing something out of duty, you only see yourself as the one that's doing it, not versus actually submitting to God and watching him work out of your submission. Just keep in mind that one of the main purposes of us being here is to exalt the Lord, but not only from a place of just doing it just to do it, but just because he's God, but because we have submitted to him and we are walking out of that sonship and we are walking out of that relationship with God, not just reading the word and then just doing it as if it's like a little checklist. It's not about you. It's never been about us as Christians. It's about God. Y'all be blessed.